you've ever listened to the wind, really listened on a dark, crisp night, you might have heard whispers. Flipping, flipping, flipping. You may not have understood them then, but soon I believe you will. Episode 4. If you've ever looked at the night sky, really looked, you may have seen the memes. If you've ever dreamt, really... I'm doing more flipping, okay? Let's go. Last time I tried to get the best armor in the game solely through price gouging, but that was easy. This time I'm going for something much more valuable. The most expensive thing on the auction house. Music disc, Melohi. Going for a juicy 1,304,612,768 coins. Okay, that's a bit extreme. Instead, I'm going for Speed Silver says the Mitre Sword is the best. Banana says Silent Kill is the best. Nope, there's a new one. A couple days ago, a new strongest item came out. It seems like no one can decide what item is the best. So, no item is the best. No item. No, not any. Google Translate into null. The null block. An item of no value, no use, it shouldn't even exist. And yet it costs 20 million coins. And that's what I'm going for. Speedrun time, Hypixel Skyblock, 0%. And so, I introduce you to Auction/Bazaar Flipping to Null Block Episode 4, The Long Wait, Dragoon Returns, the sequel, Illegal Economic Methods Revealed, Gone Sexual. So some of you might be confused. This is a common side effect from watching my videos. It'll pass after some time, but I should at least explain what flipping is. Flipping is the act of purchasing a good from someone, then selling it on to another person for a higher price than you paid for it. But it's so much more than that as well, and since I'm a dedicated educationer, I'll give you a few examples so you can better understand. Flipping is telling the government it doesn't own you, then collecting unemployment checks guilt-free. Flipping is eating Doritos all day long and literally seeing your washboard abs form. Flipping is robbing a bank and being greeted by the bank president who thanks you for your service, then by the real president who gives you an RPG that shoots lions. I hope I haven't lost anyone yet. Now that you know what the thrill of flipping truly is, I can start my quest. Create a new profile, get ready to get this null block. The first thing to work out is how to get some starting cash. Since I'm starting from scratch, I need to spend a little bit of time doing something that isn't ripping people off. Believe it or not, I'm not the first person to make this type of video. There have been many attempts, some very successful, some abysmal, so I could steal coin getting ideas from them. So I saw Zap's idea of getting money from the villagers. Now finally time to use the auction house. Here is where players can trade items between each other for coins. I went to get a jungle axe for cheap. If someone is really desperate, they'll often overpay for this item. So after winning one for 480 coins, I placed it on the auction house and waited for a bit. In the meantime, wait, someone bid for it. That's a little more coins than's necessary. Oh yeah, I have YouTube rank now. I keep forgetting that everyone that plays this game has low self-esteem and tries to get popular people to love them by giving them money. And it totally works. I guess I can just use the bazaar instead though. It's purely trading goods, no names given here, no questions asked, just how I like it. It is here that I will make my riches towards my precious null, and I'm gonna use my main account starting with 300 coins because you don't want to see me grind to level 7 skills. Since I have to start off with very cheap items, I can show you the importance of margins. See here, cocoa beans are selling for almost twice the amount that they cost. So you put in a buy order for a small amount slightly higher than the next top bidder, then wait a couple of minutes. If you manage to buy the items, you can immediately put them back up for a higher price, but still lower than anyone else that's selling them. Wait a couple more minutes and you'll have made money out of thin air. It might seem quite simple, but you have to constantly keep checking the prices to see if anyone has taken your place as a lowest seller. Kind of like a jealous girlfriend. I know he said he loves me, and I gotta check his phone to see if anyone... No, okay, it seems right. Wait, does he have Tinder? No, it's fine. Wait, who is that Samantha bitch? Oh, there he is. Haha, it's fine. I can be so random sometimes. So you just keep buying and selling more of this item. Every time you do it, you can buy slightly more of it, making more money than the last. The hard part is knowing which items you're able to do this with. To find out which items you have a margin that will let you flip them for profit, you can check each item constantly, mark down the graphs, create spreadsheets, or... Now don't let anyone know I told you this, but you could, and this works for quite a few things, you could Google it. Stonks.gg and a bunch of other sites have all the info you need for this specific strategy. So I just went around flipping small items like cocoa beans, bait, and raw beef until I got to around 300,000 coins. Took around 2 hours to do. Now we can move on to the big boy flips. Oh, and I'm glad this happened now so I can show you, but while I was flipping cocoa beans, it got harder all of a sudden. A bunch of other people caught on and started selling lower than me, so I lowered my price, they lowered theirs, until it snowballed down into completely ruining the margin, making cocoa beans a worthless flipping item. That's why it's important to have multiple items going at once. Or there's another way that I probably shouldn't show you or people get mad at me. Anyway, slightly more expensive items time. Before we move on, I know all YouTubers say this, but I will make a part 2 if and only if there is an odd amount of likes on this video. So let me know if you like this video by keeping that counter non-divisible by 2. When you get to larger items, they will not have huge margins, but you don't need as much of a margin to make profit using them. See here, you can make 10,000 coins per cookie you flip, but with the items like this, you generally have to wait a bit longer before the trade goes through, and there are some productive things you can do while waiting. For example, you should always be checking the auction house for cheap buy it nows. Search by lowest price and look through all the buy it now sales. Often people will misclick and think they're setting up an auction and you can get any item for around 500 coins. It's unlikely you'll get an overflux ore, but you might get some crystal frags for cheap. Another thing to do while waiting is to play Pong with new invisible barriers on the auction house. Combined with tarantula boots, it's hours of fun. How long can you last before getting kicked out? Eventually you'll win your auction and you can find something else to buy. Although one thing you must be careful of is taxes, in more than just the game, that's something to remember. Even if it looks like there's a large difference between buy and sell, you have to remember that 1% of total sell price is taken and thrown into the void. Combine this with acting quickly before margins change and being able to calculate if a purchase is worth it, you have to be good at maths to be a bazaar flipping aficionado. There are many ways you can get a better maths education, from cheating on IQ tests, surgically inserting a calculator into your brain, originating from the east, but my personal method is listening to this dude.
You take your 33 and a third chance, minus my 25% chance, and you got an 8 and a third chance of winning at sacrifice. But then you take my 75% chance of winning.
Sorry to interrupt again, but if this video gets 15 quintillion shares on LinkedIn, a part 2 will come out Friday. The next method that will get us closer to the ultimate null block is bulk buying. It's kind of like the first thing we did, but more. You find an enchanted item which is being used a lot, maybe for an update or a new money-making strategy, and you put in an order for tens of thousands of the unenchanted version. Then collect it, craft up, and sell back instantly. You just have to do some more maths to see if it's worth it.
So you got a 25% at best at beating me, and then you add Kurt Angle to the mix, your chances of winning drastically go down. See, the three-way at sacrifice drastically go down.
Alright, I can only think of one other method that isn't the one that'll get me hate if I tell you. So this one I'm blatantly stealing from another YouTuber. The person made a video testing if you get more money from changing languages in the auction house, and I can steal it because they stole my outro. So if you're outbidding people in the auction house, change your language to Norwegian, and when it comes up on their screen they might not recognize it. Change your language to strobe lights and you might incapacitate the person. Alright, I don't have quite enough money yet. I'm gonna have to give you the secret method. You see, there's a subtle balance between all items, a buy and sell price that, if maintained, everyone can benefit from. People get the items they need, and the flippers can make a small amount of profit, as long as this piece is protected. It's like an oasis in the middle of a desert. This water is for all creatures that surround it, all taking turns drinking their part. Or a soup kitchen, giving out what is needed to those who can't afford it. And I'm a parkour pro who swoops in and takes the pot for myself, spilling 80% of it as I take it. I am an elephant who cannonballs into the oasis, ruining it but getting the most water for myself. I am a vigilante who beats up the jewelry store robbers and takes it for myself. I am the Dark Moraled Knight. So that's the attitude you gotta have if you want to get rich. Instead of slowly outbidding everyone else, when you find an item with a large margin, you just outbid everyone else by a huge amount, get tons of the item, then outsell everyone by a ton as well. You make money super quickly and subsequently ruin the item for everyone else flipping. You can single-handedly stop hundreds of people making money. Do you see why I wasn't sure I should tell you this? You have the power for absolute chaos. So I did that for a while. Now I have a ton of money, time to go buy the null. Last time guys, but just to know if you like this kind of video, if you're watching it, I want you to shout Borborygmus really loud. Don't know yet. 3, 2, 1, go! Okay, now if I personally hear anyone scream that, there will be a part 2. Okay, I'm almost ready to get this item. I'm only making this video because I have an idea coming up that I need a lot of money for, and the donations I've been getting are, it's the thought that counts, right? Let's hope I don't regret this. I finally have it, the ultimate prize, one of the rarest items in all of Skyblock. Aha, look what I can do with this mighty block. It's, no, I don't want to stream on Twitch. Please, where's my F5 key? Okay, anyway, there we go. Look at this mighty, oh, it's gone. Shit.
And then add 66 and 2/3%. See, Joe, the numbers don't lie.